We're going to talk about a force so powerful that it can literally transform your life overnight. That force is discipline. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of discipline that makes you wince or the type that feels like punishment. I'm talking about the kind of discipline that sets you free. Let me tell you a story about two young men I once knew. Both started their careers on the same day at the same company with the same salary. Both had dreams, both had potential, both had opportunities. But 5 years later, one was still in the same position, making just a little more than when he started, while the other had become a regional manager, earning 5 times his starting salary. What made the difference? It wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It wasn't even education. It was discipline. You see, while one spent his evenings watching television and his weekends sleeping in, the other invested in himself. He read books during his lunch breaks, attended seminars on weekends, and practiced his presentation skills in front of a mirror every morning. That's discipline. And that's what we're going to explore today. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, that's just one example. But let me tell you something fascinating about discipline. It works in every area of your life. Whether you're trying to build wealth, improve your health, strengthen your relationships, or master a craft, discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Think about it this way: success leaves clues. Have you ever noticed how successful people seem to have certain habits in common? They wake up early, they plan their days, they keep their commitments, they do what needs to be done whether they feel like it or not. That's not coincidence, that's discipline in action. I remember when I first started my journey in personal development. I was broke, discouraged, and looking for answers. Then someone taught me this fundamental truth: it's not what happens to you that determines your future, it's what you do about it. And what you do about it comes down to discipline. Let me share something powerful with you. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. But here's the catch: you can't start with the heavy weights. You've got to start small and build up. Want to develop discipline? Start with making your bed every morning. Sounds too simple. That's exactly why it works. You see, success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals. And discipline is the most fundamental of all fundamentals. It's the foundation upon which all achievement is built. Here's what fascinates me about discipline: it's available to everyone. You don't need special talents. You don't need to be born into privilege. You don't need exceptional intelligence. All you need is the willingness to do what others won't do, to live like others won't live, so you can have what others can't have. Let me tell you about a woman I met at one of my seminars. She was a single mother working 2 jobs, trying to provide for her children. She told me she didn't have time for anything else, but after understanding the power of discipline, she started waking up just 1 hour earlier each day. In that hour, she studied real estate. Within 2 years, she had her license and was making more in 1 month than she used to make in a year. That's the power of disciplined action. Now, here's something crucial about discipline that most people miss. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be consistent. If you read just 10 pages of a good book every day, that's 3,650 pages a year. That's about 18 books. Think about how that knowledge could transform your life. The beautiful thing about discipline is that it compounds. Small, disciplined actions repeated consistently over time create massive results. It's like planting a tree. At first you see nothing. The soil looks bare, but underneath roots are growing. And one day, seemingly overnight, a shoot breaks through, then branches form, then leaves appear. Before you know it, you have a mighty oak that can weather any storm. But let me warn you about something. Discipline has a price. The price is giving up immediate pleasure for long-term gain. It's saying no to what you want now for what you want most. It's choosing the pain of discipline over the pain of regret. And make no mistake, there will be pain either way. The difference is the pain of discipline weighs ounces, while the pain of regret weighs tons. I've observed something interesting over the years. People often overestimate what they can accomplish in a day, but they drastically underestimate what they can accomplish in a year with consistent, disciplined effort. This is why so many New Year's resolutions fail. People try to change everything at once instead of focusing on one disciplined action at a time. Let me share a personal example that illustrates this perfectly. When I first started in business, I was terrible at public speaking. The thought of addressing a room full of people terrified me, but I made a disciplined decision to work on this skill. Every morning I practiced for 30 minutes. I recorded myself. I studied great speakers. I took every opportunity to speak, no matter how small the audience. Was it comfortable? No. Was it convenient? No. But was it worth it? Absolutely. You see, discipline isn't just about doing the big things right. It's about doing the little things right day after day. It's about the small decision you make when no one is watching. It's about doing what you said you would do long after the mood you set it in has left you. Here's something profound about discipline that took me years to understand. It's not just about what you do, it's about who you become in the process. When you practice discipline, you're not just building better habits, you're building a better character. You're not just changing your actions, you're changing your identity. Consider this, every time you choose discipline over convenience, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Every early morning workout, every night spent studying instead of watching TV, every healthy meal chosen over fast food. These are all votes for your future self. One of the most powerful aspects of discipline is its ability to create freedom. Now that might sound contradictory at first. How can discipline, which seems to restrict, create freedom? Well, think about it this way. The person who has developed the discipline to manage their money has the freedom to make choices about their future. The person who has developed the discipline to maintain their health has the freedom to enjoy their life fully. The person who has developed the discipline to master their craft has the freedom to choose their path. Let me tell you about a gentleman I met who transformed his life through discipline. He was 45 years old, 100 pounds overweight, and facing serious health issues. His doctor had given him a stark warning, change or face severe consequences. Now, he could have done what many people do, look for a quick fix, try the latest fad diet, or make excuses. Instead, he chose discipline. He started small, walking for just 10 minutes each day. He kept a food journal. He went to bed at the same time every night. Nothing dramatic, nothing revolutionary, just simple, disciplined actions repeated day after day. Within 2 years, he had lost the weight, reversed his health issues, and completed a marathon. But here's what's really interesting. He said the physical transformation, while significant, wasn't the most important change. The most important change was in his mindset, his self-image, his belief in what was possible. This brings me to another crucial point about discipline. It's not just about restriction, it's about expansion. When you develop discipline in one area of your life, it spills over into other areas. The same discipline that helps you maintain a workout routine will help you build a business. The same discipline that helps you save money will help you maintain relationships. The same discipline that helps you learn a new skill will help you teach others. Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked when discussing discipline, the role of environment. Your environment either supports your discipline or sabotages it. If you're trying to develop financial discipline, but you're surrounded by people who spend recklessly, you're fighting an uphill battle. If you're trying to develop healthy eating habits, but your kitchen is filled with junk food, you're making it harder than it needs to be. This is why one of the most disciplined actions you can take is to consciously design your environment. Clear out what doesn't serve you. Surround yourself with what supports your goals. Create systems that make discipline easier. Remember, discipline isn't about willpower, it's about creating conditions that make success almost inevitable. Let me share something fascinating about discipline that I've observed over decades of studying successful people. Discipline creates opportunity. Most people think it's the other way around, that opportunity creates success, but that's not how it works. When you develop discipline, you become the kind of person who can recognize and seize opportunities that others miss. Think about it, the disciplined person who consistently shows up early and prepared isn't just putting in extra hours, they're positioning themselves to notice opportunities. The disciplined person who maintains their composure in difficult situations isn't just displaying good character, they're creating opportunities for leadership. The disciplined person who continues learning and growing isn't just acquiring knowledge, they're developing the ability to spot trends and anticipate changes. Here's another powerful truth about discipline. It's transferable. The discipline you develop in one area of your life can be applied to any other area. The focus and dedication it takes to master a musical instrument is the same focus and dedication it takes to build a successful business. The patience and persistence required to learn a new language is the same patience and persistence required to transform your health. But let me tell you something important. Discipline without direction is just restriction. You need to know why you're being disciplined. What's the purpose? What's the goal? What's the dream that's big enough to pull you through the tough times? Because make no mistake, there will be tough times. I remember talking to a young entrepreneur who was frustrated because his business wasn't growing as fast as he wanted. He was working hard, but something was missing. When we dug deeper, we discovered he was confusing activity with accomplishment. He was busy, but not productive. He was working, but not on the right things. That's when I shared with him one of the most important principles of discipline. It's not just about doing things right. It's about doing the right things. This brings us to another crucial aspect of discipline, the power of saying no. Discipline isn't just about what you do, it's about what you don't do. It's about saying no to the good so you can say yes to the great. It's about saying no to distractions so you can say yes to your dreams. It's about saying no to instant gratification so you can say yes to lasting fulfillment. Consider this, every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Every time you say yes to watching another hour of TV, you're saying no to reading a book that could change your life. Every time you say yes to hitting the snooze button, you're saying no to an early morning workout that could transform your health. Every time you say yes to an unnecessary purchase, you're saying no to investing in your future. Now, let me share something that might surprise you. Discipline isn't about never making mistakes or never falling off track. It's about how quickly you get back on track when you do fall. The most disciplined people I know aren't perfect. They're just better at course correcting than others. Think about a pilot flying a plane from New York to Los Angeles. The plane is off course 90% of the time. But through constant small adjustments, it reaches its destination. That's how discipline works in real life. You won't be perfect. You'll have days when you slip up. The key is to make those small adjustments, to get back on track quickly, to maintain your direction even when you temporarily lose your way. Let's talk about something that often gets overlooked when discussing discipline, the role of rest and recovery. True discipline isn't about grinding yourself down, it's about sustainable, long-term progress. The most disciplined athletes know the importance of rest days. The most disciplined entrepreneurs know when to step back and recharge. The most disciplined scholars know when to take breaks to process and integrate what they've learned. This brings us to another powerful truth about discipline. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. Some people think discipline means adding more activities, more tasks, more responsibilities to their plate. But often true discipline means doing less, but doing it better. It means focusing on what truly moves the needle, what truly makes a difference, what truly brings you closer to your goals. I remember meeting a successful business owner who told me something profound. He said, the most disciplined decision I ever made was to stop doing 1,000 things adequately and start doing 3 things exceptionally well. That's the power of focused discipline. Now, let me share something that might challenge your thinking about discipline. It's not just about personal achievement, it's about contribution. The most fulfilled people I know use their discipline not just to better themselves, but to better the lives of others. They understand that personal discipline, when properly directed, becomes a force for positive change in the world. Think about it. When you develop the discipline to master your craft, you're not just improving your own life, you're creating value for others. When you develop the discipline to maintain your health, you're not just benefiting yourself, you're setting an example for others. When you develop the discipline to manage your finances, you're not just securing your own future, you're creating opportunities to help others. Here's another fascinating aspect of discipline. It creates reputation. Your reputation isn't built on what you say you'll do, it's built on what you actually do consistently over time. And that consistency comes from discipline. When people know they can count on you, when they know you'll deliver what you promise, when they know you'll show up prepared and ready, that's when opportunities start flowing your way. Let me share something powerful about discipline that took me years to understand. It's not just about outward actions, it's about inner dialogue. The most disciplined people I know have developed the ability to manage their self-talk. They've learned to quiet the voice that says I can't and amplify the voice that says I can. They've learned to ignore the voice that says do it later and listen to the voice that says do it now. This inner discipline, this mental toughness is what carries you through when motivation fades, when circumstances are difficult, when the path ahead seems unclear. It's what helps you keep going when others quit, keep believing when others doubt, keep working when others rest. Consider this: every thought you allow to take root in your mind, every story you tell yourself about who you are and what you're capable of, either strengthens or weakens your discipline. That's why it's crucial to guard your mind, to feed it empowering thoughts, to surround yourself with positive influences. Now, let me share something about discipline that many people miss. It's not just about working hard, it's about working smart. The most disciplined people I know are also the most strategic. They don't just put in the hours, they make the hours count. They don't just take action, they take intelligent action. They don't just move, they move in the right direction. I remember meeting a woman who had transformed her life through discipline. But what struck me wasn't just what she had accomplished, it was how she had accomplished it. She hadn't tried to change everything at once. She hadn't relied on willpower alone. Instead, she had created systems and structures that made discipline easier. She had turned her goals into habits, her aspirations into routines, into daily actions. This brings us to another crucial truth about discipline. It's not just about the big moments, it's about the small moments. It's about what you do when no one is watching. It's about the choices you make when there's no immediate reward. It's about the habits you maintain when there's no external accountability. Think about it. Anyone can be disciplined when they're motivated, when they're being watched, when the stakes are high. But true discipline shows up in the quiet moments, in the private decisions, in the daily choices that seem insignificant but compound over time. Let me share something powerful about discipline that I've observed over the years. It creates certainty in an uncertain world. When everything around you is changing, when circumstances are unpredictable, when the future seems unclear, discipline provides a foundation of stability. The disciplined habits you've developed, the consistent actions you take, the reliable routines you maintain, these become anchors in times of change. This is why the most successful people I know maintain their discipline, especially during difficult times. They understand that while they can't control external circumstances, they can control their response to those circumstances. And that response is shaped by discipline. Now, here's something fascinating about discipline that often gets overlooked. It creates momentum. When you're disciplined in one area of your life, it becomes easier to be disciplined in other areas. When you prove to yourself that you can keep one commitment, it becomes easier to keep other commitments. When you experience the benefits of discipline in one domain, you're motivated to apply it in other domains. Think about it like pushing a heavy boulder. At first, it takes enormous effort just to get it moving. But once it starts rolling, it develops its own momentum. That's how discipline works. The hardest part is often getting started, building those initial habits, developing those first routines. But once you build momentum, maintaining discipline becomes easier. Let me share something important about discipline that I've learned through experience. It's not just about what you achieve, it's about who you become. The real value of discipline isn't just in the external results it produces, but in the internal transformation it creates. When you practice discipline, you're not just building better habits, you're building a stronger character. You're not just improving your circumstances, you're improving yourself. This is why discipline is so powerful, it changes you from the inside out. The person who develops the discipline to wake up early isn't just getting more done, they're becoming someone who keeps their commitments. The person who develops the discipline to manage their money isn't just building wealth, they're becoming someone who thinks long term. The person who develops the discipline to maintain their health isn't just getting fit, they're becoming someone who values excellence. Consider this: every time you choose discipline over convenience, Every time you choose long-term benefit over short-term pleasure, every time you choose what's right over what's easy, you're not just making a decision, you're making a declaration. You're declaring what kind of person you are, what kind of life you want to live, what kind of legacy you want to leave. And that, my friends, is why discipline is everything. It's not just a means to an end, it is the end. It's not just a path to success, it is success. It's not just a way to achieve your goals. It's a way to become the person capable of achieving even bigger goals. Remember, the distance between where you are and where you want to be is called discipline. And the beautiful thing about discipline is that it's available to everyone. It doesn't discriminate based on age, education, or background. It simply responds to your decision to take control of your life, to make the right choices consistently, to do what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. Let me tell you about a conversation I had with a young man recently. He was complaining about how he didn't have enough time to pursue his dreams. He had a full-time job of family commitments. Sound familiar? But when we sat down and analyzed his daily schedule, we found that he was spending 3 hours every day on social media and watching TV. 3 hours. That's 1,095 hours a year. Do you know what you could accomplish in 1,095 hours of focused, disciplined effort? This brings me to another profound truth about discipline. It reveals what you truly value. Not what you say you value, not what you wish you value, but what you actually value. Because here's the reality, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. We all have the same 168 hours in a week. The difference lies in how we choose to use those hours. Think about this. Every highly successful person you admire started with the same 24 hours you have. They didn't get extra time. They didn't get special hours. They simply made different choices about how to use their time. And those choices were guided by discipline. Let me share something fascinating about discipline that I've observed in successful people. They don't view discipline as restriction, they view it as investment. Every disciplined action is an investment in their future. Every early morning workout is an investment in their health. Every hour spent learning is an investment in their growth. Every dollar saved is an investment in their financial freedom. I remember talking to a successful entrepreneur who told me something profound. He said, "I don't have more discipline than others. I just have a clearer understanding of the price of not having discipline." That's powerful, isn't it? Because there's always a price to pay. You either pay the price of discipline or you pay the price of regret. And the price of regret is always higher. Here's another crucial aspect of discipline that often gets overlooked. It creates clarity. When you're disciplined, you start seeing things more clearly. You start recognizing patterns. You start understanding cause and effect. You start seeing the connection between your actions and your results. Think about it. When you're disciplined about your finances, you start seeing clearly where your money goes. When you're disciplined about your time, you start seeing clearly what activities produce results. When you're disciplined about your relationships, you start seeing clearly which ones enrich your life and which ones drain it. Let me share something powerful about discipline that took me years to understand. It's not just about doing things differently, it's about seeing things differently. The disciplined person sees opportunities where others see obstacles. They see challenges where others see problems. They see investments where others see expenses. I remember meeting a woman who had transformed her health through discipline. But what struck me wasn't just her physical transformation, it was how her perspective had changed. She no longer saw healthy food as a restriction. She saw it as fuel for her goals. She no longer saw exercise as a chore. She saw it as a gift to her future self. She no longer saw early mornings as a sacrifice. She saw them as opportunities for growth. This brings us to another powerful truth about discipline. It creates freedom through structure. Now that might sound contradictory, but think about it. When you have disciplined financial habits, you have the freedom to make choices about your future. When you have disciplined health habits, you have the freedom to live life fully. When you have disciplined work habits, you have the freedom to pursue opportunities. Consider this: discipline is like the banks of a river. Without banks, a river becomes a swamp. The banks don't restrict the river, they give it direction, power, and purpose. That's what discipline does for your life. It gives it direction, power, and purpose. Let me share something about discipline that many people miss. It's not just about what you do, it's about what you become capable of doing. The discipline of daily practice doesn't just make you better at your craft, it makes you capable of mastering any craft. The discipline of saving doesn't just build your wealth, it builds your capacity to manage wealth. The discipline of keeping commitments doesn't just improve your reliability, it improves your ability to take on bigger commitments. Think about it like building muscle. When you consistently work out, you're not just building specific muscles, you're building your body's capacity to build muscle. That's how discipline works. It builds your capacity for achievement in any area of life. Now, let me tell you about something fascinating I've observed about discipline. It creates what I call the discipline dividend. This is the unexpected bonus that comes from consistent, disciplined action. Like the businesswoman who started exercising regularly for her health and discovered it also improved her leadership abilities. Or the student who developed disciplined study habits and found it enhanced his creativity. Or the artist who maintained disciplined work hours and realized it strengthened her relationships. You see, discipline doesn't just create direct results, it creates ripple effects that touch every area of your life. It's like dropping a stone in a pond, the ripples keep expanding outward, affecting things you never expected. Let me share something powerful about discipline that I've learned through decades of observation. It's not just about personal achievement, it's about legacy. The discipline you develop today doesn't just affect your life, it affects the lives of everyone around you. It affects your family, your colleagues, your community. It sets an example that can inspire others for generations to come. Think about it, when you choose discipline over convenience, you're not just making a choice for yourself. You're showing others what's possible. You're demonstrating that circumstances don't determine destiny. You're proving that anyone can change their life through consistent, disciplined action. Here's another crucial truth about discipline. It's not just about doing more, it's about becoming more. The most disciplined people I know aren't just focused on accomplishing tasks, they're focused on developing themselves. They understand that the greatest value of discipline isn't in what it helps you achieve, it's in who it helps you become. I remember talking to a successful business leader who shared something profound. He said, the most important discipline isn't in my calendar or my to-do list. It's in my mind. It's the discipline to keep learning, to stay curious, to remain humble, to always be growing. This brings us to another powerful aspect of discipline. It creates what I call success momentum. You see, when you're disciplined in one area of your life, it becomes easier to be disciplined in other areas. When you prove to yourself that you can master one challenge, you develop the confidence to tackle bigger challenges. When you experience the benefits of discipline in one domain, you're motivated to apply it in other domains. Think about it like a snowball rolling downhill. As it rolls, it picks up more snow, becoming larger and more powerful. That's how discipline works in your life. Each small victory, each consistent action, each kept commitment adds to your momentum, making the next challenge easier to overcome. Let me share something about discipline that might surprise you. It's not just about restriction, it's about liberation. When you develop discipline, you free yourself from the tyranny of impulse. You free yourself from the prison of procrastination. You free yourself from the chains of mediocrity. Consider this, every disciplined action is a vote for your future self. Every time you choose the harder right over the easier wrong, you're investing in who you want to become. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you're building the character that will carry you to your dreams. And that, my friends, is the ultimate power of discipline. It's not just about achieving goals or creating success. It's about becoming the person capable of achieving even bigger goals and creating even greater success. It's about continuous growth, constant improvement, never-ending development. Because here's the truth, there is no limit to what you can achieve through disciplined action. There's no ceiling on how far you can go, how much you can grow, how many lives you can touch. The only limits are the ones you accept, the ones you allow, the ones you create through lack of discipline. So I challenge you today, don't just hear these words. Don't just nod in agreement. Don't just feel temporarily motivated. Take action. Start now. Start where you are. Start with what you have, but start. Because the future belongs to the disciplined. The opportunities belong to the disciplined. The achievements belong to the disciplined. And most importantly, the person you have the potential to become is waiting on the other side of discipline. Remember, the pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. Choose your pain. Choose your future. Choose discipline. Thank you, and let's make these insights count where it matters most in our daily actions and choices.